Mark, you're back for your third spell.
Yes.
Different ground, different name, but basically the same club. How's that feel?
Yeah, I'm just saying a little bit surreal seeing how everything's been developed. The ground's perfect for rugby league. 8,000 seater stadium, modern. The training ground's first class. So really excited to be back, and very pleased to see York, with the facilities it deserves for such a nice city.
We just found out about the move. Took some of us a little bit by surprise. Yeah. Had it been in the pipeline for a while? When did you first find out?
No, it was really quick, to be fair. All happened within 24 hours. So got me by surprise as much as I'm sure it did you guys. And as I said, looking forward to getting started and to get back into doing what I love best, which is coaching.
Tell us then what you've been doing over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh, well, since you left Wakefield end of last season, is that
Yeah,
right?
that's right, yeah. So obviously an interesting year last year. Enjoyed it though, very good year in terms of coaching, for experience. Then I started doing my own coaching, did a bit of teaching because I've got my teaching qual, and just a lot of one-to-one coaching and a few talks to businesses here and there. And then I'll be honest with you, I've got my daughter's just turned 3, so it's been good just to have 4 months or 5 months just being at home and watching her grow up. Because chatting to a lot of people, they said, don't let that time fly you by. So I've absolutely loved just being able to spend some time with my daughter and bond with her.
But there's only so much time, I'm guessing, as a sportsman that you want to be at home. You need something to get the juices flowing, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd say around March time I started getting the twitch again, as everyone told me I would. And I've just been looking for the right opportunity. And York's got great ambition. I think it's got all the infrastructure in place to be a top level club, and it's just a case now of making sure that over the next couple of years that we're doing things on the field right as well, so that we can can hopefully go around for that licensing next time it's available.
Talk to us about your relationship with Hendo and with Clint, because clearly all three are still at the club. It's going to be very important that all three of you get on together and work together. Yeah,
I've known Hendo 20 plus years, champion guy. So Endo's role is obviously more the administration side. Clint, I'm just getting to know. Very passionate about his rugby league. Very passionate about York, and very knowledgeable about not only the rugby side of it, but the strategy and business administration side of it. So looking forward to working with him on that. It's going to be a different sort of setup to what I'm used to, but a challenge that I'm looking forward to as well.
So you directly report to Clint rather than to Hendo?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Have you had to use then Hendo over this last week or so? How much time have you spent with him talking through the squad that you've inherited? Because obviously you want to hit the ground running here.
Yeah, listen, Andrew Anderson's an absolute champion human being first and foremost, and he's given me an update on the squad. He said anything I need is available for me, which sums up what he's like as a guy. The lads were off last week, as I know a lot of clubs were, so I met them for the first time on Tuesday, and again just really happy with how everyone responded, and the energy that they brought was first class. So looking forward to another good session tonight, and a tough game on Sunday against Dewsbury. You
say you met them for the first time on Tuesday, but rugby league's a relatively small circle. I'm sure you actually knew most of these players already.
Yeah, well, I coached a couple last year. At my previous club, a lot of lads I've coached, through youth systems and through the England pathways when we were coaching on that and whatnot. And as you said, rugby's a pretty small game. You get to know most players anyhow. So. Some good characters here, and more importantly, some good players as well. So looking forward to working with them.
When you first spoke to Clint, looking in from the outside, do you think York Knights may be underachieving from where you would have thought they would be at this point of the season? And if so, what did he say to you to try and explain where the Knights find themselves at the minute?
I think, listen, there's a lot of different factors that can go into a season, isn't there? It's all right looking at a squad on paper and saying this squad should be there or thereabouts. Injuries happen, different dynamics happen. So, as I said to everyone on Tuesday night, it's a fresh slate for everyone, and more importantly, our first game together as a group with me in charge is on Sunday, and that's all we've got to look forward to. What's happened. It is what it is. So we'll just move forward from here, really.
And that session on Tuesday, could you tell that everyone was maybe giving that 2% more, trying to impress, because they know they've got a new man now that they do have to impress?
Yeah, you always get a bit of a new coach bounce, don't you? But it's like anything, the professional players that are paid to do a job as well, and they want to, they want to improve every week. My job's to help facilitate that and make sure that we create an environment that people want to be involved in, and facilitates high level rugby league, but also develop them as people as well.
I think you briefly mentioned in an earlier answer about the grading and where this club wants to get.
Yeah.
Where do you see this club going in the next few years? Hopefully under your guidance.
Yeah, it's got to be aiming for Super League. I think with how IMG's scored the criteria, it's on clubs now to make sure that not only have they got a playing squad that's capable of it, but they've got an infrastructure that can handle it as well. Because if one thing rugby league's been crying out for the last 20 years anyway, is probably a bit of modernisation in certain grounds. So it's pleasing to see that a lot of clubs now are taking that serious. And as I say, York's got a ready-made stadium for Super League. It's definitely got a ready-made training ground for a full-time environment. And we're just going to make sure that we get things nailed on the field now, so that we're in everyone's train of thoughts for if a Super League spot is available, that people want York Knights in there. I mean, there's no other professional club around for 10 mile, 15 mile. There's some cracking youngsters in here. I know that because I used to try sign a lot of them in my old role. So it's got some youth systems that can feed your first team. You get a youth pathway nice and established, and get that identity created, and that that feeling that people want to be part of something. And why not have a York Knights in Super League?
So what is that identity going to be under Mark Applegarth? How would you describe yourself as a coach?
Very good question. First and foremost, I think you've got to have that defensive mindset. Defence wins championships. A good attack will win you a game here or there. But you look at any team over the last 20 years, definitely 20 years, but they've all had solid defences. So I'm a defence-minded coach in terms of I like a gritty team. A team that takes pride in not leaking points. Now I know that's really easy to say, and it doesn't happen overnight, but that's what we've got to aspire to be. And the contrast to that is I do like playing rugby league, but it's getting that mindset right first, that you've got to be able to defend, and it's not a case of just winning games 48 points to 44 or whatever. We've got to make sure that we take great pride in defending this try line.
How far can you get up the Knights up that table this season? Do you think we're halfway point now? What do you think the second half can produce?
Really cliche, but we've got to make sure that we just take it one game at a time. I think as a player and as a coach, you can't afford to look too far into the future. I'd love to sit here telling you that we can do this and that. There's one game at a time. Looking at that playing squad, if we keep everyone fit and everyone's firing, it's obviously capable of competing at the right end of the table. But, first and foremost, we've got to make sure that we do his job on Sunday. We get off to the start that we all want, and then we can start going from there. But one game at a time. We're looking no further than Dewsbury Rams at this moment, because it'll be a very difficult game.
Yeah, it starts away at Dewsbury at the weekend. Before we started recording, we were talking about you were down at Wembley last week watching rugby league. How much do you know about Dewsbury Rams before you came into this role last week? Yeah,
I know a lot about Dewsbury. I've played there at the ground, that is, as a player many a time. When I were at Batley, I used to play in heavy woolen there, so I know how passionate the fans are. I watched the first half against Wakefield. I thought they were very gritty for that first 20 minutes. They're not just going to roll over. They're fighting for their life. They've got some good players there that I've also coached and played with. With Dale Ferguson still going around too. So they'll be well coached, well drilled, up for it, and we've got to make sure that we outmatch them in terms of intensity, effort levels, and make sure that we're on firing all cylinders ourselves.
Would you say it's vitally important that you do actually win this game, without putting you under pressure to win your first game, because you know what you've got the following week, where maybe it's on paper a tougher game at Featherstone? Well,
every game in Championship's tough. Again, another cliche for you, but it is. Every single week's going to bring a different challenge for you. You can go for every team in that table and pick a challenge out. So, as I said to you there, I'm just literally one game at a time. I've come in halfway through a year, so it's a new challenge for me, getting to know a squad halfway through. So just looking forward to working with this group of men and, seeing where we can go.
You're working with this group of men. How many are in this group this week? So we know about the Knights' injury problems all season.
Well, come Friday you'll find out. But yeah, I think it's fair to say there's been quite a few injuries this year, and that's not something I want to really get into in terms of why, because I'm still learning that myself. But what I will say is you'll have a team out there on Sunday that will be giving it everything they can to get that result that we all crave.
Is there anyone not available that we're maybe not aware of, do you think? Or maybe people who may be available that haven't been in the past couple of weeks?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know who you know and who you don't know. So, come Friday when that squad name, that should give you a better reflection of where we're at.
I suppose you'd prefer to start off with a home game. You're going to have to wait a couple of weeks, aren't you? But at the end of the day, I know you only got half season, but you play everyone home, you play everyone away. Does it really matter? Yeah, it'd be nice to see some of them York fans that I've not seen for quite a few years. But hopefully, a couple of weeks' time we'll get to meet on good terms. So I'm looking forward to just getting started. If I'm honest with you, the most important thing at York is the players and the playing group. So my job as coach is to make sure that I'm facilitating that environment and they feel like they want to be there and working hard. So I'm putting all my energy into that at the moment, if I'm honest with you. And when do you think you will likely bring in your own players from elsewhere to try and supplement the group, whether that's because of injuries, loss of form, for whatever reason?
Good question. I'm still getting to know Clint myself and how we're operating, but I think on paper, if we can get this squad fully fit again and assess it, let's not fair, it'd be really rash of me to rush into decisions on players that I probably don't know as much about as I'd like to. You can only form your own opinion by being around people, can't you? Which is best way of getting to know people. So, I think let's have a look at what we've got. Let's have a look at how we respond, how we play, and we'll go from there.
And I hope I've not been thrown under the bus here, but when I mentioned our morning meeting in the office this morning that was coming down to talk to you, one question was, please ask him why his nickname's Mash.
Good. Well, if anyone asks, I like to say it's because I used to mash people on field, but it's really not. If anyone watches an old video of me playing, they'll know that. Adrian Vowles gave me it. Do you remember Vowlesy? So when I first signed professional, I was 16 I were, and you'd sign autograph balls and shirts, and when you're young you don't really like signing them, but some senior lads would be like, no, get your signature on that. And I signed a ball and it looked like Mash Apple Dash. So my first nickname, believe it or not, at rugby was Pebble Dash, which I won't go into detail on. And then after about 4 or 5 hours deliberation, they decided that from then on in I was called Mash. So that's how I got the nickname Mash.
Very good. Good luck for the weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hi Mark, first of all, welcome back to York.
No, thank you.
From your perspective, how did this move sort of come about then?
Yeah, really quick, all within 24 hours really. Spoke with Clint, obviously went over a few things with him, and 24 hours later we had it all agreed, and as I said, I met the squad for the first time on Tuesday night, and looking forward to working with them.
And from your spell with Wakefield, what do you think you've learned from that you can take into this new job?
I think every opportunity you want to learn something from. I mean, what happened last year were obviously a bit of a difficult year from take the results out of it too, but from the whole setup of it. So I loved last year in terms of some of the challenges that we had to face as a group, that I had to face as a coach. So it definitely taught me a lot about myself, taught me a lot about people around me, and answered a few questions that I'm grateful for, and what a learning opportunity it was for me. So yeah, real happy with that, and I don't think I'll ever experience a challenge as full on as that again. So yeah, real good experience there, and it's also pleasing to see how they're coming out over end of it too, with the new ownership and everything that's going on there.
And in order for you to sort of implement your play style at York, are you hoping to bring in your own coaching staff?
Well, listen, I've put Paul Cook in charge of attack. Jed's here and Will Lee. So Cookie's going to take a lead on attack. He's got a great attacking mind on him. So as I've just said there about getting to know the playing squad, it's really important you get to know your playing staff too. They've all been really welcoming and really impressed with them. On first impression. So. Nothing will be changing in terms of that. in my eyes this year anyhow. So as I say, we're just looking at 1 week at a time, getting getting some results, and hopefully looking at the right end of the table, not the wrong end.
Appreciate that it's probably still early days for yourself.
Yeah.
But have you been able to sort of work out where the issues have lied for York, and have you maybe had a conversation with Andrew Henderson about what needs to be improved upon?
Yeah, naturally, we've had chats with Clint. I've had chats with the coaching staff, chats with the players, you name it. That's part of coaching. That's what you do all the time. But they're not sort of conversations as you'd expect that we'd be having right now. They're sort of things that you'd have in end of season conversations, and you'd probably share. Once you're over whatever obstacles it is you're looking at, and you're moving forward.
Hooker Sam Cook came in, I think a day or two after yourself came in. Did you have much to do with that, or was it sort of already in the...
No, that was already sorted. Sam had already been sorted through, what the previous regime. So, looking forward to getting to know Sam. Saw him on Tuesday. Looking really sharp. He's been playing over in France. So, looking forward to get to know him, and hopefully it can add a lot of value to what we're doing.
With the announcement of your appointment as well, also came the announcement of the new academy coming in 2026, I think it was.
Right.
Yourself, obviously, you've worked with youth in the past, you've got a lot of experience in that. How excited are you to sort of being able to work alongside, the youth staff they'll bring in? And
it's a really good question. That you cannot have a sustained, successful team without a youth pathway that's going to provide players for you. That the local lads are the heartbeat of any club. Now, if you look at Super League, definitely over the last, we've had 4 teams win it, am I right in saying, over the last 25 years? So it goes without saying, Wigan, what's one thing they're known for? The probably best youth system for producing talent in Super League, and they have been for many a year. Leeds Rhinos, they're exactly the same. When they were having their successful years, it were based off youth, and players that had come through their academy. St Helens, another club that champions youth, and then Bradford, obviously in the early 2000s, late 90s, they were exactly the same. So the blueprint's there for everyone to follow, that if you want to have a sustained period of success, you need a youth system that's going to feed that, because them youth players that come through, they're what create that identity, and they breed that city, that club where you are, or that town. 100%. So I think it's really important York get that established. It isn't going to happen overnight. It's one of them things that's going to take a good 5, 10, even 15 years in some cases. But if you want to have a high level club that's competing year in, year out, you need that youth system to make sure that it's got that connectivity, because it's massive. So I'll be really happy to see York get a youth system established, and grow it from there.
Dewsbury for your first game.
Yeah.
York have already played them already this season in the Challenge Cup, managed to get the victory against them as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that gives the players that bit more confidence, that they know that they can beat them?
But it's a new challenge, as I say. There's loads of different factors that can go into games for both teams, both ways. All you can do is prepare as well as you can for that week, have confidence in yourself as a player, yourself as a team, and take it from there, really. What I will say is the lads have trained really well on Tuesday. No one's under any illusions it's going to be a real tough game. They're a real great team that's got some big boys in there that can also play. Paul Sykes is still playing. He's been there, done it all. So they've got some really good players, and it's going to be a real difficult game on Dewsbury's ground especially. So it's a challenge that we're looking forward to.
And one of the talking points every time York plays Dewsbury is the narrow pitch.
Yeah.
How do you sort of go about dealing with that?
That's the same for both teams, isn't it? I've never been one of these that really buys into that. It's like it's the exact same dimensions for both teams. Part of your job as a coaching staff and as a playing group is to adapt. I'd be pretty disappointed in myself and anyone associated with me or the team if we started moaning or going on about a pitch. It's the same for two teams. It is what it is. You just prepare and you get on with your job.
And last question for me, you're back at York. Have you got a message for the supporters?
Just good to be back. Looking forward to getting started, and really proud to be head coach of this great club.
Just a couple of things, actually, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The bulk of your career, you've been full time. You're now going into dealing with players who are part time. How hard or easy will that be in terms of the differences into what you're asking them to do in training and that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, obviously I played quite a lot of my career part time as well, so I know it from a playing point of view, but from a coaching point of view, I've only worked full time. So it'll be a good eye opener for myself. As I said, there's a lot of good coaches here already that I can bounce ideas off, and Andrew Endo, he's obviously given me a few snippets, but just making sure that bang for your buck, we're delivering what the players need, and being appreciative that that they are full-time athletes. They obviously sign up as semi-professional players, and they understand there's a certain commitment that comes with that. So just making sure as a coaching group that we offer a high level of coaching and professionalism that should come along with being in such a good environment. Our aim has got to be, whatever we're part-time, to be the best part-time team in the country, and then as we transition full-time, make sure that we switch those aspirations to that. So just making sure that everyone's getting what they need, and at the same time being conscious that they are part-time players, not full-time athletes.
And interesting that you should say there about transition. Hopefully you'll be the guy that takes it forward, and when you do go full time, and you'll have that knowledge as well. So a bit of an all-round approach. Yeah,
listen. Here and now is the most important thing, especially when you're coaching. We've just got to make sure that myself and this group take care of a business in the here and now, and then have faith that Clint and the wider staff are putting plans in place for future years. But our job is just to focus on 1 week at a time and making sure that we do what we need to do.
And I guess the first priority is just to get away from those bottom reaches of the table, so you're not looking over your shoulder constantly.
Yeah, 100%. It's that putting a performance in, week out, and making sure we have a certain standard that we can aspire to every week. So that's, as a coach, that's all you focus on. And as I say, the other stuff kind of takes care of itself when them sort of things come up. But listen, we're looking no further than Sunday and making sure that we get that desired outcome that we want.
I'm just going to ask you a question because it goes beyond Sunday. If that's okay.
That's fine.
I hope you don't mind, but bear in mind, we come out on Monday, so that game will have already taken place, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at your fixtures. You've got Featherstone coming up quite soon, which brings you into contention with James Ford, who is somebody that you know quite well.
Yeah, I'd be pretty embarrassed if they were chatting about coaching instead of players. We're not out on the field. The headlines and the highlights should be the lads that are going out and playing a game of rugby league. But I'm literally just looking at Dewsbury at the moment, if I'm honest with you.
I don't mind it. Excellent, that's great. Thank you very much.
No problems, Doug. Thank you.